Hello, I'm Scott Brady with Expedition Portal, and for this week's Field Tested, we're going to talk about tire repair. Now, there are many kits on the market, and one of my favorites is this one from ARB. There are other kits that are less expensive, and there's several problems with that, mostly around the quality of the plugs that are included. The quality of the kit is almost entirely dependent upon the quality of the plugs in the kit, because that's what results in a long-term repair. So this particular kit uses the right quality plugs with a high thread count and a very high quality vulcanizing component to it as well. Let's talk about the contents of this kit and the things that are working well and not for us in the field. The things that I like most about this kit is the quality of the reamer and the plunger. This reamer is much higher quality steel, much more resistant to bending than you would find in cheaper kits. Many of the cheaper kits will have knurling on the surface instead of this round machine surface. So this will last for decades in the field. If you do have damage to this reamer, with an Allen key you can remove it, straighten it, repair it, or replace it. I also like the quality of the handles. Many of the kits come with plastic handles. This is a metal cast handle that is extremely durable and will no doubt last a lifetime and gives you a much better purchase when you're reaming out a hole to plug. The other thing that I like is the quality of the plunger. Most of these plungers do not include these stops. Now, the reason why you want the stop, especially on the less expensive ones, is that the end of it is too narrow, so you can over-penetrate the plug into the tire. I like the fact that it has this stop which protects my knuckles when I push it into the tire, and then it also sets the depth better for the plug. So this retaining recess that you slide the plugs into is just open enough that you can very easily slide a plug into it with the supplied lubricant, and then it isn't too tight where when you go to pull it out, it doesn't pull out the entire plug with it when you remove it from the tire. So I have found this to be one of the most effective plungers that are available in any of the kits. Now let's talk about a couple of things that I don't like about the kit. It comes with a generous amount of lubricant, but this lubricant will dry out with time. Even with a really tight seal, I have found that all of these kits, with time, even after a couple years, it will start to dry out. So make it part of your pre-trip inspection to check the quality of the lubricant and make sure that it doesn't end up like this, which is basically just a brick inside of there that's no longer useful. And just refresh that as you need to. The other thing that I don't care for is the quality of the tire pressure gauge. The tire pressure gauge is overall a good quality unit, but it does not have a low enough pressure range. When we drive off highway and we're in deep sand or we're in deep snow, we need to go down below 10 PSI oftentimes. This one only goes down to 10 PSI. There's a very big difference, there's an important difference between 8 or 7 PSI and 5 or 4 PSI. So we need to be very accurate in what we set our pressures to in those very low flotation surfaces. So that's really important that we upgrade the tire pressure gauge in this kit as well. This kit also comes with a set of needle nose pliers, which I think is an important addition. It allows you to pull the plugs out to the right depth and make those adjustments. You can also use the cutting surface on these needle nose to trim the threads. Also included with this kit is this small accessory kit. And it includes 4 valve cores, but it needs to include complete valve assemblies. Those will oftentimes get damaged on the trail and you may need to do a field repair where you replace the valve assembly in its entirety. It does not have that. Add a couple of those to the kit. It's got some really high quality metal valve caps and plastic valve caps, and it also has a valve core removal tool as well, which is an important addition. So overall, a very fairly priced kit, a comprehensive kit, but there's a couple things to be mindful of before you take it on your next adventure. And again, each week during Field Tested, we like to introduce a hack or product that we would like to feature in addition to the main product of the week. And for this week, it is the Super Siphon. This is a product that I have used on all of my major adventures, and I now take it with me anytime that I leave the office on even a camping trip because it has a lot of different uses. It is inexpensive, which makes it all the more reason to bring it along with you. This particular one is labeled with water because I don't use it just for fuel. So this particular water one I will use to transfer from a 5-gallon water can into a camper system, for example, or if a camper system has enough capacity and I need some water in a 5-gallon jerry can, it makes it very easy to move those back and forth. Now, they are typically used for fuel, and that's their greatest use, because then you're not having to create suction with your mouth, which would then end up with a mouthful of fuel typically, or at least fumes. So how that works is there is this brass stamped component in the end of it, this fitting, that has a glass bead on the inside of it. It's a precise glass bead that fits with the rim of this stamped piece. Every time that you drop the hose down into the can and you pull it up and then go down with some force, it starts to move the fluid up into the hose and create that siphon. And then it very quickly can transfer 5 gallons of fuel from a jerry can into your vehicle. It's very worthwhile to bring on your next adventure.